Good morning, sweet ones. How y'all doing? Are you feeling the magic? I was posed a question, so I thought I'd pose it to each of you. The question was, how is it that you can see so much magic when there is so much corruption and chaos in the outside world? Sweet ones, you hear us say that, good morning, David. How you doing, sweetheart? Big hugs and blessings. You hear us say that heaven is not a place, it's a frequency. Fifth dimensional earth, it's not a place, it's a frequency. Good morning, Shirley. Good morning, Zella. And when you go within and you raise your frequency, if you will, everything in this world is a frequency. It's a vibration. It's an energy. And it's not that we do not observe what goes on in the world. We don't engage and participate in it. And the reason we don't engage and participate in it is we go within, we find that space within ourselves and say, okay, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm observing. This is what is presenting itself to me. This is the energy that is present right now in this moment. How do you change that if you don't like what you're seeing? If you don't like what you're observing, how do you change it? You find that space in here. If you're angry at the corruption in the world, go within here and find that space and choose to change that energy here. When we say don't engage in the physical, we're not saying do not go extend a hand and help someone. Good morning, Ellen. Good morning, Emmy. Good morning, Connie. We're not saying go out and just ignore people. Don't smile at them. We're not saying none of that. And I certainly am not saying that. However, what we are saying and what we are encouraging, what we are taking action on, and what we are doing individually as a unique expression of the one Creator is we're focusing on that which Twitter paints our hearts. The only truth in this world is peace. The only truth in the Creator, of the Creator, as the Creator, is peace. That is the only absolute truth there is in all of existence. All other truth is as fluid as the thoughts you entertain. Not even maintain, entertain. Sweet ones, we sit here, and all of us, I'm not including or disincluding anybody. When we sit there and encourage you not to focus on this outside world, and you hear so many people, aspects of self, discussing 5D Earth, and we say it's here now, it's here right now. Well, then it's counteracted. If it's here right now, why aren't we seeing it? Okay, why are you asking me why aren't you seeing it? Why aren't you going within and asking yourself, sweetheart? You know, you focus on the corruption in the world. You focus on the dark in the world. You focus on the ills of the world. What makes you think that you're in 5D? Good morning, Deborah. Good morning, Connie. Good morning, Hanifa. Did I say that right? Big hugs and blessings, sweet ones. When it's different for each of you. Everybody is on their own level of awareness based on the inner work they have or have not done. And in a blink of an eye, sweethearts, you will go to bed one night and you will wake up and it may appear and seem to you that you are on the same earth, but you're gonna feel something different. So now let's look at that. Let's observe that. If you are aware, and many of you are, of 5D Earth being a Earth plane existence, being a higher dimension, if you will, of pure peace, love, and harmony, then why would you engage? Why would you continue to expose corruption, continue to expose deceit, continue to engage and expose all the BS in the world? Why would you continue to focus and engage in something that you know within, that you post about, that you speak about, that you engage about, that you create and help create a world of peace, joy, and harmony, and you know this from within yourselves? Your spirit has shown you that 5D dimensional new earth, that grid, that new matrix, is one of peace, love, and harmony. And you know that your soul has chosen to go into that fifth dimensional frequency. Why would you continue to engage in something that you know no longer exists? You know within your heart that it no longer exists because your spirit has been showing you and has been guiding you. It has shown you what heaven is. It has given you glimpses all along your journeys. You integrate these light energies and you rise in frequency and you experience it, whether it is for a few moments, a few hours, a few days, or maybe even a week or a couple weeks. You are in this space of, you're on top of the world. It's like when you're a teenager, you fall in love for the puppy love for the first time and you have that major crush, or what so many of you in the spiritual community consider your twin flame. Oh my God, I have found my twin flame. I am whole. I am complete. And then something happens and it's ripped away. Well, I know he was my twin flame. What happened? Sweethearts, if you know what you know, what you know from your spirit, even if your human does not understand it, your spirit has shown you spaces of bliss, spaces of ecstasy. It has shown you repeatedly on your journeys. And even those that are not consciously aware of it, that have no idea that they're waking up, they can see where they have had moments of absolute ecstasy and bliss and have been on top of the world, and there's nobody in the world that can tell you any different. That is fifth dimensional earth. That is those experiences of fifth dimensional earth. Now observe this, sweet ones. When you are in that space of what I'm going to refer to as being on top of the world in puppy love, do you see the ills of the world? Absolutely you do. Do they bother you in any way, shape, or form? Do they bring you down in any way, shape, or form? When you are in that puppy love on top of the world, in that ecstasy and bliss, does it bring you down? No. Think back to when you were a teenager and you fell in love with that rock star. Oh my God! Or you've seen that, you're a freshman in high school and you've seen that pretty senior walk by and you get all Twitter-pated. Oh my God, she talked to me, and or you hear these young gals or even adults. I'm not making fun of them, I'm not judging it. I'm just giving you examples to observe thyself. When you are in that space of absolute bliss and in love, nothing phases you. not your parents getting on your butts. Nothing phases you. You are in love. Good morning, Naomi. Neil, did I say that right, honey? You are in love, and there is nothing that phases that. That is the fifth dimensional ecstasy, and that is what I'm trying to point out to you. You do not engage in the ills of the world when you're in love, in ecstasy, in bliss. You see the magic regardless of what is going on. And when you are in that space and you see that magic, it does not matter what corruption is going on in the world. You sit there and you send it loving energy. It don't matter if your friends are in a fight. You don't engage in it. You try to bring peace to it because you're in that space of love. What's David say? David says, Linda, those moments are it, but you can't get there from here. They're calling us. I don't think we were supposed to set up camp. Absolutely, David. Absolutely. But by the same token, that's the magic we emanate out. It is an individual choice. And do we get, like David said, do we get there overnight? No, we don't. David wouldn't be in the space he's in. I wouldn't be in the space I'm in. You wouldn't be in the space that you're in if you hadn't gone within and done that inner work. But it is in that space of absolute bliss and ecstasy and magic that the higher aspects of yourself reside in every given moment. And it is only in the present moment right now that you get to there and you stay there and you anchor that here. We're not to set camp, like David said, we're not to set camp up in the fifth dimensional. We're supposed to bring that fifth dimensional here by raising that frequency within ourselves. You don't do that by reacting, by focusing on the corruption, by focusing on everything that goes bad. You allow yourselves to stay in that ecstasy, in that bliss. And when that corruption, when that ill, when that darkness, whatever label you want to give it and define it as, presents itself, you're in that higher frequency, you're in that love. And therefore, when you stay and maintain in that frequency, that higher love, when this stuff presents itself, you don't react to it. You don't engage in it. You don't dwell in it. You don't join in its misery. You react differently to it. You react to it through love. You bring peace to it. So, when I ask you, why do you engage in it? It is what you are leaving behind, sweet ones. Regardless if humanity wants to knowingly or unknowingly, consciously or unconsciously, take religion out of it, take spirituality, take politics, take it all out of it. Take it all out of the picture, sweet ones. The planet itself still has to go through her cycle. And she's at the end of her cycle. She's going to her golden years. She's going through the sun and she's going to retirement. That can't be avoided, regardless of humanity. Regardless of what they participate in or do not participate in. The planet itself, you can't stop that cycle. And that's where we're at. And when she goes to retirement, which is very, 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 very close to happening on the physical manifestation aspect of it, that is when you're going to be anchored into new earth. And in that new grid, sweet ones, there isn't all this corruption. There is not all these lower vibrational things. You say you want 5D earth, but yet you still expose the darkness. you still expose all the ills and the BS of the corruption of the 3D matrix. From a 3D mentality, rather than staying up here in the higher dimensional frequencies that you have tuned into, and bringing those frequencies down and spreading peace to it, and engaging peace to it, and love to it, and calmness to it. That's how you maintain the frequency of heaven on earth. Heaven is not a place, it is a frequency. 5D earth is not a place, it is a frequency. And the higher in frequency you rise to, the frequency without changes is still presented, absolutely, for now, because you're in a transition. And everything you perceive, everything that is presented for you, is for you to transmute, to harmonize back to peace. Good morning, Carol. Good morning, Ellen. So, does things continue to happen in the outside physical world that, for lack of a better way of saying this, good morning, Eliza, oppose the immeasurable? Absolutely. As long as you are in physical form, you will always encounter that. Because as long as you are in physical form, antimatter, the physical world is a world of polarity and separation, of duality. It's going to show you, it's going to present you both what you label light and dark, good and bad, positive and negative. It's you as the individual, unique expression of the one creator on your individual journeys. Ascension and awakening is a singular journey. It is you as the individual expression that has to change the frequency within you, yourself. And you change the outer world after you change it in here, and you maintain it, because when you maintain your higher frequencies, then you put a different frequency out. And that's why we constantly encourage you. So to answer the question that was posed to me, do I see what goes on in the world? Absolutely. I observe it. But at the same time, I observe the corruption in the politics, and I observe all this fear-based stuff being put out, and the expose of truth that has not been known to humanity. As I observe it all, I also observe the bliss. I also observe the good. I also observe what you guys label as positive, magical, everything else. But does that mean I sit there and I swing the pendulum and I spend 5 minutes in ecstasy and then turn right around because somebody sent me a message or posted a link on my wall about the Queen Elizabeth being a reptilian? Does it really matter? Yes, to the human aspect it matters. Absolutely. To your spirit? No. Because your spirit is in a higher dimensional frequency, and your spirit knows that the darkness that's being exposed, the truth that is coming out, the corruption and the ills of the world are in a matrix that is a hologram that does not exist, that it was a learning playground, it was a program, it was an experiment for you to grow your soul. So why do you want to keep participating in exposing the corruption when you know that you're leaving that 3D matrix, that 3D hologram? Why would you keep participating in it? Why wouldn't you bless it, be grateful for it, and send it energy and change the energetic pattern? Rather than bitching and moaning and complaining, convincing your 3D mind that you've actually doing something to help the world, when really all you're doing by continuing to engage in it is just to keep the world as you see it trapped in that frequency. Why wouldn't you sit there and say, okay, so this is the truth, this is what's being exposed, okay people, now let's send it light, now let's send it love. Let's change this energy now that it has been exposed, instead of exposing it and bitching about it. And again, that's just an observation from a higher aspect. You know, in every given moment, you have a choice. Right now, in this moment, it's the only moment that exists. The future and the past are all presented right now. So when you engage in a world that you say you no longer want, and then you wonder why 5D or heaven's blessings or anything else isn't here in your physical manifestation, I encourage you to step back. I encourage you to observe it. You say you're ready. I'm so ready, God. I'm so ready, universe. And I do it myself. I'll sit there and I'll make a post. I'm ready. Universe, Mama's ready. But Mama really is ready. I'm telling the universe, okay, bring it on. Let's move it up a notch. I'm not sitting here saying, I'm ready to escape this bullshit. No. I changed the bullshit. I changed the energy behind it. In every given moment, I find the magic, sweet ones. I focus on the love. Because in what you call corruption, what you call darkness, what you call bullshit, what you call prejudice, what you call racism, I call love. What you call dark and light, I call love. It is only your individual perception that has to separate it into sin, that has to separate it from good and evil. So observe thyself and ask yourself why. Why is it so important to the 3D human aspect that your spirit has confirmed for you and that you speak of that it's going to be no more? Why do you keep participating in and creating it and building upon that foundation? Why would you not see it for what it is? Because you've already been showing, you talk about it all the time. The 5D earth, the heaven and earth are the same thing, that they exist as one. So why would you continue to participate in a world that you say you want to see end? I can't answer that for you, sweet ones. I can only sit here and ask you to observe thyself. Love is. It just is, sweet ones. The only difference is the perception of it. The only difference is truly how much you're in here versus in here. The only difference is how much you choose to participate in the magic in here, out here, or to participate in the BS out here and put this on hold. Yes, there has to be a balance, but there doesn't have to be a swinging of the pendulum, sweet ones. The middle path is observing the outside world and changing it from in here. It is here where you see out here and you go in here and pull from what's here out here to create heaven on earth. You don't take what's out here and try pulling it in here and saying, okay, here, keep feeding the bullshit, keep feeding the corruption, keep feeding the evil. It don't work that way. Everything that your heart wants Everything that your soul desires, sweethearts, is here right now. And if you cannot physically see it, cannot physically hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, sit on it, whatever it is, if you are not experiencing that, that is your spirit saying you're participating too much in the old. That you are not seeing the blessings and the miracles that have been bestowed upon you right now. You are too busy in the future, and you're too busy in Tomorrowland, and you're too busy in the past. That you are missing it all right now in this moment, this second. Forgive what you see in the outside world, sweet ones. And you will discover that when you actually truly do forgive all the bullshit and enslavement that has been done to you and humanity as a whole, when you can forgive the corruption, when you can forgive what you label the cabal, the Illuminati, the elite, the dark, the Anunnaki, the reptilians, and whatever other label you want to give it to keep everything in separation, when you can forgive that, truly forgive that, you will find that you don't need to expose the elite, the dark, the corruption anymore. Instead, when it is presented to you, you bless it, you give it gratitude, and you transmute it back to the light in and of and through unconditional love. So, sweethearts, if you are not experiencing, because when you hit that higher frequency and you maintain it, even what seems to appear as the experience of sadness, death, sorrow, corruption, or anything else, you will not react to it in the same way that you do here in the lower planes, the lower frequencies of what you guys see as corruption, false light, darkness, and everything else. The ills of the 3D matrix, of duality and polarity. If you are still seeing all that corruption and still getting upset over that corruption, there's a space within you. Emmy says, but there is also a good, sane, healthy rage without judgment that helps us to say the truth, but at the same time we need to forgive the dark side of the world and ourselves. Amy, I'm not going to agree or disagree with you. However, I will say this to that, sweetheart. In love, there is no rage. In the higher dimensional frequency, there is no such thing as rage. Not even a healthy rage. And to say that helps us to say the truth, there's nothing that helps you to say any kind of truth. Because the truth needs no help. When you reach that frequency within, the truth will speak itself. The human vessel is just going to be that expression of it. Again, the only absolute truth there is in all of creation, there is only one absolute truth. And it has nothing to do with rage. It has everything to do with peace. Love is the answer to everything. And that frequency and definition of love for each of you will change the more inner work you do and the higher in frequency you evolve to. Send love. I understand that, Emmy. the truth is as fluid as the emotions you entertain. And when you rise yourself to a high enough frequency, the emotions really fall away. And what you feel is feelings. Yes, you still go through those spaces of sadness, of sorrow, or whatever, but they're more gentle, they're more graceful, and they aren't engaged in. It's, again, 3D and 5D is a choice, sweet ones. And it's a choice to anchor in 5D. It's a choice to anchor in heaven on earth. And that can only be done individually, not collectively. Because it all begins here. And you're coming into a space right now where it is really important to not allow this outside world to dictate your emotions. And if you are finding yourself in a space where you're still focusing on all the ills of the world, where you are still focusing on having to expose the corruption, where you are still engaging in people are stupid, where you are still engaging in those kind of judgments, where you are still engaging in so-and-so is the dark, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Sweet ones, you are still creating your life to be lived in the 3D matrix. Because on 5th dimensional Earth, in the higher dimensional frequencies, divine love has no judgment, it has no opinion, and it has no reaction. It is peace in every breath and in every moment. There is no opinion that matters, not even your own, because every opinion is a judgment. And as long as you're still seeing corruption and everything else and still engaging in it and still giving an opinion on it and still judging it as corruption, as fake news, as dark as light, then you are continuing to create and live in a 3D matrix that you say you want out of. All I can say is, I love you, sweet ones. Find the magic. Go within. And maintain. When Spirit gives you those few hours, those few days of that bliss and that ecstasy, that's what I'd focus on. Even when it disappears after you've anchored it in and you come back and it seems like you have crashed back into the 3D lower frequencies. What you have done is Spirit is showing you and saying, okay, now bring that back down here and anchor it in. But so often what happens is you experience that bliss, and then because you're intaking the energies, you're anchoring it into you, you're integrating it into your body, and then the bliss and stuff goes away because now you've been, what seems like, dropped back into the lower frequencies. What happened, you ask? What happened is, now that you've anchored the light into your physical vessels, now you're being given the opportunity to anchor it into the physical outside world. And you do that through love. You don't go experience this bliss and this ecstasy up here, let it integrate, and then come back down here into the physical world, if you will, and then go and continue engaging in the corruption and engaging in this and engaging in all the ills of the world. No, that's not how you anchor that light into the earth. You anchor it in by practicing it, by participating in that ecstasy and that bliss. Not by just feeling it for a few moments, anchoring it into the vessel, and then coming back here and, well, what happened? Why did life get shitty again? Well, because you're still participating in the shittiness of it. You're supposed to be anchoring the ecstasy in. And that's the pendulum. You're going from one extreme to the next. Well, I'm not seeing it. I've been doing all this inner work. I've been doing all this. I've been doing all that. How come my physical reality is not changing? How come 5D isn't here yet? Well, it's not here yet because you go play up here, and then you come back down here, and then you play in the corruption and everything instead of bringing heaven and earth together in a neutral position. Free will choice. I love you, sweet ones. The only reason I'm bringing it up is because people ask me questions about it all the time. They come to me for guidance on it. All I can do is plant a seed, sweet ones. I can lead you to the water. I can't make you drink it. I can't make you water it. I can't make you nurture it. But by the same token, I can plant a seed and then I can go right back up to my magic carpet ride and keep anchoring it right here on this physical plane. I don't attach identification to those type of things. But that's a space I've reached within myself. Not everybody's reached that space. And I'm not judging anybody. I'm just answering from a higher perspective of my own learning. My own journey. And again, I'll go back to my vessel being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, which I go for an MRI today. That's my vessel. That's not me who has it. My vessel may have it. Why identify with it? That's a 3D antimatter physical aspect of it. There's no cancer in the fifth dimensional earth. There's no disease. There's no illness. And that's the earth I reside on. That's the earth I live in. My vessel has a mission in the lower planes, if you will, sure. But my vessel isn't my light body. The cancer's not what's crystallining. The scars on my foot, the 5 screws in my foot, they're not what's crystallining. The wrinkles, the fat rolls, they're not what's crystallining. Remove the identity you have with the 3D world. Remove the identity you have with the corruption, with the dark, with the Illuminati, with the Cabal, with whatever anger, whatever beliefs and opinions you have. Remove your identity from it, sweet ones, and you will find 5D Earth will anchor in for you faster than a blink of an eye. That's how you anchor. That's how you bring heaven. Bring yourself to heaven and bring heaven to earth. Lilith, Eliza says, everybody seems to think Lilith is evil. There's much grace in that aspect of the divine feminine. There is much forgiveness and mercy in that aspect of the divine feminine. And there is great beauty in her. And I love that aspect of myself in every way, shape, and form. Because you know what? It's in the darkness. Or what you guys term darkness. It's in that womb. Which really all darkness is. The human aspect just has to give labels to it. Embrace the magic, sweet ones. Anchor in your 5D heaven on earth. Because only you individually can do that, sweethearts. And observe thyself. Forgive thyself in all aspects of thyself, and love thyself, and embrace all that you are. Because heaven is here, sweet ones. The RV is here. The abundance, prosperity, the gifts, the glory, the holiness of heaven is here right now. You, individually, just have to match its frequency. And you are not able to do that as long as you continue to participate in the 3D matrix and expose what you think is corruption. Because really, that 3D matrix is gone. It's a frequency choice you choose to participate in. And right now, Spirit is forcing you, whether you're consciously or unconsciously, knowingly or unknowingly aware of it, Spirit is forcing you to choose. You're either going to continue to live and expose and filter everything through your mind and see the corruption, see the ills of the world, or you are going to start seeing it from here and living it from here. And instead of exposing it, you're going to allow it to flow out of you. And that is an individual choice, sweet ones. There is no more riding the fence. And by the end of this weekend, when we hit the full moon, you will each individually see that. Because as much grace and mercy and forgiveness and everything else that has been bathed upon this earth and upon each of you, so too does that grace period end. I bless you, Eliza. Jezebel is a frequency. It exists in both male and female. I don't know what to tell you there, sweetheart. Just like Lilith is an aspect of each of you, just like Seth, Cain, Abel, and everything else. I love you, sweet ones. I love you. I hold you in eternal grace, peace, love, abundance, joy, harmony, unity. You want 5D Earth, sweet ones? I encourage you to start participating in 5D rather than 3D. And that's the only seed I can encourage you to keep nurturing. Because so many of you want 5D, but yet you keep watering and nurturing 3D. I can only encourage you. And I encourage you to ground. I encourage you to stop participating in the 3D matrix that is no more. Unless you want to continue living out that experience of a corrupted government, of no RV, of no prosperity packages, of war, of exposing the darkness, so be it. But I encourage you, if you want heaven on earth, if you want to experience abundance, prosperity, joy, peace, harmony in every aspect, in every way, then I encourage you to start participating in the 5D earth rather than the 3D grid. Because in a blink of an eye, sweet ones, when Gaia physically manifests, and it's here, her retirement into the golden age, if you will, in a blink of an eye, 3D and 5D are going to split. And you're either going to find yourself still in that 3D matrix of corruption and the ills of the world that you keep participating in, or you are going to find yourself in the bliss and the ecstasy and the harmony and the peace of 5D. So again, all I will say is I encourage you in this moment right now to really observe what you have been participating in, what you are still participating in, still focusing on, still engaging in. Because you can't go behind the doors and say you want 5D Earth and then turn around and go out in the public and expose the corruption of the world. You can't feed both stories, two different energies. It just don't work like that. Have a great day, sweet ones. I love you. Big, 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 big hugs and blessings. Step into the magic, sweet ones. Only you can raise yourself and match the frequency of the 5D Earth. And that is a choice that you make in every breath, in every moment right now. Have a magical day. Bye-bye. I love you.